Oh, hey y'all. All right, we are here to do an in the bag disc golf gal edition. So this is my bag. I have a BP V2 bag from Prodigy, and I love it because it has tons of pockets, okay? It has so many pockets, you guys. You can fit your socks, you can fit your rain jacket, your snacks, towels, chapstick, extra minis, pencils, anything. There's so many pockets in this thing. It's really comfortable too. It has pads on the back. And it has two giant cup holders. So that's my bag. That's what I have been using this season. It has worked out quite well for me. It's holding up pretty well. I did get it in the summertime, so it hasn't been like too long since I've had it, but it's working out pretty well so far. So that's my bag. We're gonna go through my bag. This has been my first tournament season, so I have discovered a lot about myself as a player, and I have switched discs, most of my discs, from the beginning of the season to now. So I figured this might be able to help some newer players, and just kind of show you guys what I got going on. We are going to start with putters. Now, I feel like my putter is my favorite disc in my bag, and I also feel like it's the most important disc in my bag. So I putt with an Axiom Envy. It has a bead on it, and I use the Neutron plastic, 172 to 173 grams. So this is my putter. It is overstable, but it's very trusty and very reliable. I can also throw this off the tee pad if it's a shorter hole, and it'll hold that hyzer line all the way for me. So this is an all-around great disc. I have just started flicking it for approaches as well. So it's kind of an everything disc, which I appreciate. So Axiom Envy is my go-to putter. I have just added another Envy into my bag. It's a different plastic because I was looking for something that had a little bit more glide and that was a little bit more understable for those outside of the circle putts. I wasn't really making any of them, and so I realized, well, maybe I should pick a different disc, something that's a little bit easier to get in there. So this one is an Envy, but it's a Cosmic Electron soft plastic. So this is what I am using outside the circle to putt with, and I'm also kind of messing around with using this on off the tee pad for either a short ante shot or a tunnel shot where it'll just go straight, and it'll just kind of fade down. So no fade left. And it's interesting because the numbers on this Envy are different than the other Envy that I putt with. So this Envy says 3-3 -1-2, and my putting putter is a 3-3-0-2. So this one, like I said, is a little bit more understable. So I'm kind of messing around with that one right now, but Envies are definitely my go-to disc, okay? And then I have just added a Pro Pig to my bag. I love this disc. This is a Ricky Wysocki Pro Pig. It's very beefy. I cannot throw it on a backhand. Please don't ever make me. But what I can do is I can flick it. So I'm just kind of messing around with flicks. I'm just adding it into my game. But this is a great flick disc for approaches. I'd say within 100 feet for me, it's been fabulous. And it just kind of sits down. Very reliable and trusty. So I love the Pig. It's also really pretty. So that's originally why I got it. And those are my three putters. Okie dokie. So we're gonna talk about mid-ranges next. I bag 3 different mid-ranges. And I really just realized, getting ready for this video, that each of my mid-ranges are of different stability, which is so perfect and works out so amazingly for me. So I have an MD3, C-line plastic. It's kind of a gummier plastic, but it feels really good in the hand. This is a Discmania disc. It's overstable, so the numbers on this are 5503. Very reliable, will always come back left. I can put it on an ante and I'll get that S shape and then come back left at the end. But I love this for off the tee pad. I will throw it on an upshot if I need to get around a tree. It's a perfect overstable mid-range that feels really good in the hand. So that's the first one, is the MD3. And then the next one is an Innova Atlas. This was actually the first disc that I could really throw where it didn't just go up in the air and dive down to the left, if you know what I mean. So the numbers on this are 5401. Now this one can't really see anything because it's very worn down. And it is an overmold, so you guys can see the notches on the inside. It feels great in the hand. It goes super straight and it barely has a fade to the left at the end. So I utilize this disc for my patent pending shots where you put your left foot behind the disc, you step out with your right foot, and then, you know, when you need to get out of the woods or you have an obstacle, whatnot, that's really what I use this disc for. I will also throw this if I need to get through a tight gap. And I'll throw this off the tee pad as well in the woods. This is a great disc, great beginner disc. It'll go super straight, super flat. It's amazing. So Innova Atlas, that's my second mid-range. And then my understable mid-range is a Prodigy M4. So this M4 is in 750 plastic. So it has that gummy feel. I'm sure you guys can tell that I kind of like that gummy plastic. I love this disc, again, because it will go straight, but because of its understability, it will actually fade a little bit right. So if I need an anti-shot or if I need to get around a tree, this is my go-to, and I've actually started using this as my primary upshot disc within like 100 feet. It's very, very easy to get under the basket. I don't have to try hard. I just throw it out and it just kind of settles right under the basket. So this is my upshot disc. This is my understable mid. It is a Prodigy M4. And those are all of my mid-ranges. Mid-ranges are very important to me. I honestly would prefer to throw a mid-range because it's more reliable in the woods as opposed to a driver for me right now. Probably because I'm still newer and I don't have the control that the old school players have quite yet. So I love my mid-ranges. I rely on them. I use them a lot in my game. Next up is fairway drivers. So I have two fairway drivers that I utilize. The first one, which is my baby, is a Leopard 3. This is the Glow Champion plastic, and I will put this on a hyzer. I can throw it off the tee pad about 250 feet, and it holds that hyzer the whole way. It's very, very trusty, will always come back left. It has never flipped over on me, and I think that's because of this Champion plastic. They say that the Champion plastic is more overstable than G-Star or the Star plastic, so this has become a really, really used disc in my bag. And the numbers on this are 7, 5, -2, 1. Now it does say that it's slightly understable, but for me, like I said, I put it on a hyzer angle so it holds that hyzer angle the whole time. So Leopard 3, this is another disc that I think that everybody should have in their bag. And then a Prodigy F5. So I don't really know a ton about Prodigy, but this disc is so pretty, and a couple of my friends here in Atlanta, Jessica Metz and Travis Hurt, they held this series here in Atlanta this summer. It was 5 tournaments, and they had these discs specially made with their tournament stamp on them. So I got this in my players pack, and I was like, you know, this actually feels really good. It's gummy. Like I said, I love the way that that gummy plastic feels. And so I threw it, and y'all, I love it. I love it. And I think it's because my arm speed matches the fairway driver's speed, right? So the Leopard 3 is really good for me. I think the F5 is really good for me as well. I think that I can actually get these up to speed, and so that they go farther, they're more reliable, they don't do anything too crazy, and you can kind of know what they're going to do every single time you throw them, which is something that I appreciate as a newer player for sure. So this is another one that I put on a hyzer and it'll come back left. I can get it about 250 feet, which is really what I'm going for most of the time. So yes, those are my mid-ranges and my fairway drivers. Ooh, it's time for drivers. And my drivers have changed dramatically from when I first started playing, obviously, until now, but my first tournament was in June, and in June I was using an Innova Strike as my primary driver. I think I had one or two of those, and that was like all I could throw. But I've recently discovered MVP and how their plastic just feels really good in my hand. It's easy to hold on to. I have smaller hands, and I think their rims, they just fit in my hand really well. So I've kind of switched over to MVP as far as most of my drivers go. The first driver that I'm just obsessed with, you guys, is the Wave. So the Wave is an 11.5 minus 2, 2. And again, that 11 speed I think is really good for me. The Strike is a 13 speed, so I don't think I could really get it up to speed, which makes it more unreliable. So these are the 3 Waves that I have in my bag. The reason that I have 3 right now is because, first of all, it is off season, and I'm kind of trying to figure out exactly what it is that I like and what it is that I want to bag for next season. But they're all different weights. So this pretty one right here is a 147. This baby will go, I put it on Annie and it'll hold right for me the entire way. Love that. The next weight is a 157, so just like 10 grams heavier. It'll go straight, tiny fade to the left. And then the next one is like a 166, and this one I put on a hyzer and it holds that hyzer line the entire way. The weight and the plastic can make a huge difference in what the disc will do for you. I have 3 of these Waves right now. I love this disc. It gets a ton of glide, and I feel like it's actually flying for me, which is so fun to see. So Wave is where it's at. And then the next MVP driver that I have recently bagged is a Lane King Photon. And this is the Fission plastic. Now they're saying that the Fission plastic gets more glide than any of the other plastics. So, and I think I agree with that. The first time I threw this, you guys, I had that face. I turned around and I was like, did I just do that? Did I just throw that disc? It was so beautiful. And from there on, it's been in my bag. So I can throw this really straight. Like I said, it'll come out left, really close, similarly to a Wave. But I can also throw it on a hyzer and it'll do that big hyzer flight. Feels great in my hand. The plastic is amazing. It has great glide, and go MVP, okay? Because these are awesome. I feel as a newer player that these discs have really made a huge difference in my game this season. So I'm very thankful for MVP and their plastic. And then the last MVP driver that I am bagging right now is a Catalyst. And this is actually the only disc that I have that is not flat. So if you guys can see that, it has that kind of puddle top where it's not a flat disc. Where, let's see, this Wave, I don't know if you guys can see the difference. Yeah. Okay, so the Wave is flat. This one has a big curve on it, and I feel like in the wind, this is a really reliable disc. It does not get turned over. It just holds the hyzer that I put it on, which, if you guys can't tell, I like to throw hyzer because it's reliable. I can throw Annie. I have some Annie discs that are great, but I feel like, especially in tournaments, I'm gonna do something that I know where it's gonna land. I know what it's gonna do. You know, it's not gonna be a surprise when it leaves my hands. So I love this disc. Feels great in the hand again, and it is my hyzer disc. So that's the Catalyst. And then, you guys, the Beast, the DX Beast, okay? This disc is amazing. It is amazing for really wooded courses, really tight gaps. I could not figure out for the life of me what to throw. So I resorted to throwing mid-ranges, and they weren't going anywhere, but I was staying in the fairway. So I was like, you know what? It's fair. At least I'm in the fairway. It could be totally worse, you know? But the Beast will actually go somewhere. It'll get some distance, and it has a beautiful, beautiful flight. So I like the DX plastic because it's easy to hold. It's easy to throw in the rain, which everybody should have a rain disc that they can rely on. It's very grippy, and the speed is a 10. So for my arm speed, I think that this speed disc is really perfect for me, just like the Fairway drivers. I think that this speed works, okay, because I can put this on any kind of line. It holds it, it glides, it flies, and it lands right where it should every single time. So the only thing that people complain about with DX is that it gets beat up very easily, and that is absolutely the truth. But these discs are like $7, so I'm like, well, I'll just collect them, and once one gets messed up, I'll just pull out another one. But this is definitely a staple in my bag. It's a Walmart special, so it's fine. I think it's very important for everybody to throw whatever they want to throw and whatever works for them. So a DX Beast is definitely one of my favorite discs ever, and it will always stay in my bag. So those are my drivers. All right, last but not least are my utility discs. Everybody should have a utility disc. I have 3 in my bag, and the first one that is very important to me and that gets me out of a lot of trouble is the Firebird. So this is the Nate Sexton Firebird. It is overstable. I want to say it's like a 9504. I'll pop the numbers right here for you guys. But I use this as my thumber disc to get out of the woods. It'll just come right down, and it's perfect. So this is my go-to utility disc. Now I'm just now trying out the Fireball from Axiom. The numbers on this are exactly the same as the Firebird, and because I love the way that MVP Axiom feels in my hand, I just bought this because I wanted to kind of see how it compares, and so far it's amazing. My thumbers actually get more distance with this plastic, which is really exciting. So I'm also throwing this on a flick, and I can get it about 150 feet, which is really good for me, okay? I don't throw flicks, but I'm trying really hard. So Axiom Fireball is great. Firebird, these two are my go-to utility discs. And then the very last disc that we're going to talk about today is a diamond. Diamond is a girl's best friend, didn't you know? But seriously, y'all, this disc, very beginner friendly. It was the first disc really that was put into my hand, and I could throw, and it flew, and it was pretty, and it didn't just go up and came down. I can put this on an Annie, and it'll hold the Annie. This is actually my Annie disc. I don't have to try hard. It's easy, okay? I recommend this disc for any beginner. And Latitude 64 actually has an entire line of beginner-friendly discs. So if you haven't seen that, definitely check that out. If you're bringing new players into the sport, which you should be because disc golf is awesome, definitely get some of these, recommend these to newer players, because once they see this disc fly, they're going to be hooked, okay? So Latitude 64 Diamond, this will always be a staple in my bag as well. So those are my utility discs. All right, guys, so that is my in the bag. Those are all of the discs that are in my bag at the end of my first disc golf season. I'm so glad that you guys were here to hang out with me and kind of get a feel for what I throw and what I like, and maybe something helped you guys figure out what you might like or might like to try. So please subscribe. I will be doing more videos, and thank you guys for the support. Bye.